Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Focus on Gaming podcast, episode 90. I'm Martin.
And I'm Duncan.
Hello.
Hello.
Had a good weekend?
Yes, it's obviously in the UK. It's Easter holidays, so wife is off work and kids are off school. So, yeah, that's meant to be a positive. Yeah, totally. But no, it's been a busy and lovely week, including some gaming.
Yes, that's good because
definitely.
I
mean, I've finally finished Split Fiction with my 7-year-old. There were some times where it was difficult for him at 7, and the main character that I was controlling, Mio, does tend to say shit quite a bit. So every time she said it, I'd be like, ooh, they're swearing. But no, other than that, it was absolutely fantastic game. It's a definite game of the year contender. It's every thing was every part of it was an epic showpiece, and it's got so many different styles of gameplay in there. It's mostly obviously platforming, but there's 2D platforming, 3D platforming, overhead platforming. There's side games while somebody else is platforming, side games while somebody's driving something or shooting something, and it's just absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend anybody to get it. It's just absolutely amazing. Definite. Yeah, I mean, I haven't played obviously Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii or whatever it's called. So but at the moment, it's a game of the year contender for me. So, but have you been playing with it?
So I played South by Midnight. Is it South by Midnight? It's not South from Midnight. South by Midnight. For that.
Yeah, there's I can't remember who it's by. It's by the same developer who did We Happy Few. Can't remember what their name is now, but I've only played a few minutes of it, so you'll be able to tell me if I'm.
Well, I haven't played that much more than you. I don't think I'm on. Just started chapter 3. So it starts and there's a big storm and you're trying to chase your motorhome that's going down, sort of.
It's just
being washed away.
It's something that seems crazy over here, doesn't it? Like my house, if there's lots of water that comes to my house, it would stay there because it's made of bricks.
Still remain where it is.
I mean, we'd obviously do
a tsunami or something.
Yeah, unless we do have caravans and trailers here, so we do.
Yeah, so far I've enjoyed what I've played of it so far. Visually, a nice game to look at. I think got a bit. There is like some platforming in there, isn't there? With jumping and sort of working out where you need to go, and then there's also there's a bit of combat as well with the.
I've literally only just started the combat mode. For literally, I think I've done 2 fights. That's how far I've got into it.
Yeah. I've done a few more, but it doesn't change that much. I mean, it might change. You start gathering skills, so I don't know how far you. I don't.
Okay. No. I have. You tell me as much as you like. I don't think.
Yeah. So you.
I might complete it, but I think I would definitely play some more of it. It's intrigued me, and the characters seem okay so far. And
you can upgrade your character, so there's that part of it where you can get skills, and the more you play it, you see the.
It's got that graphical effect, hasn't it, that makes it look like stock frame animation, which obviously looks fantastic, but there is an option in the settings to disable that graphical effect. I don't know about you, I wasn't particularly enjoying it, so I think I literally played for about 5 minutes before I went, I'll just disable that.
No, I haven't done anything with the settings. The music, I like the music as well. That's quite nice.
I mean, it is a gorgeous game, and like you said, it is really good looking. But yeah, I'm somebody on PC. I will disable motion blur, all those kind of things, because I just don't like the look of it.
What it is, it's an individual game. It's not your AAA massive game. But it's not every game has to be a massive budget millionaire or million
No,
pound
but you,
or billion pound
it's
budget.
It's surprising though. I think how good it looks. I'm
But it's not. It's like quite linear. Isn't it? I think people are used to being like everything being open world now, whereas this is very much you
it's
are.
on rails. Yeah,
This is where you're going. But I quite like that. Like it takes away the pressure of getting lost.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? At least you. There's been some games where it's so open world, you end up spending more time lost.
Yeah, it's a third person linear action adventure with a, from what I've read in reviews, a very good story. It's about like southern US folklore kind of stuff. Obviously, I don't know anything about it, so I can't profess to know what these creatures are. That but yeah, so far it's looking suitably creepy, but in a PG way. But although there is swearing, so I think it is like a Peggy 16 or something like that. But I'm looking forward to playing some more. But whether I'll play the whole thing, I don't know. We'll see how much. If I get to got chapter 3, if I get to sort of chapter 4 or 5 kind of thing, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, no, I'm suitably impressed. It's better than it's better than what's called We Happy Few. We Happy Few, when they announced that and the premise of it, I was really looking forward to that, and I played it, and I'm like, didn't like it. Wasn't really for me, and personally, I don't think it worked very well, and it got middling reviews. But this for me is a lot better than that. But it's not. It's nothing like that game.
I mean, we got Doom coming up in the in a few weeks' time, haven't we? So maybe this game will be a stopgap until.
And also, we've also got Claire Obscure 33 or something. Which hands-on previews from a few places have said it's absolutely brilliant. So that comes out at the end of April on all formats, but it's also on Game Pass day one, I believe. So I'm very much looking forward to trying that. It's a turn-based RPG action thing. But apparently, the reviews have been, or hands-on previews have been very good. So I'm looking forward to that. That comes out, I want to say the 27th, so in a couple of weeks. But then, like you said, you got Doom Middle Ages. Is it Doom the Middle Ages? A couple of weeks later, or a week later.
Dark Age. Is it Dark Ages?
The Dark Ages, that's it, not the Middle Ages. Could you imagine? It's just, what's it called? Doom guy gets to 50 years old. Not Middle Ages, that, sort of olden times, Middle Ages. Oh, he's just getting a bit old now. And he has to have a walking stick. Oh,
he must be getting on. So.
Well, I mean, what's it? He's been battling since the late 80s, isn't he? So that's at least,
I imagine he's past
35 years. So if he started doing that at 20, if he was fighting demons, then he'd be 55 minimum. So yeah, well, that'll probably be the next game, wouldn't it? Doom the old ages. All right, well, what I've been doing this week, as you know, because it was your ticket.
Yes, you have played other games as well.
I played 6 different games, but I went to the Nintendo Switch 2 experience. And wow, what can I say? I went to the one in London, which was at the Excel, and it was horrific to, first things first, I stopped for a couple of pints in a pub, and I gave my wife and the gaming dads group the table number in the Wetherspoons I was at, and I ended up having 6 pints. So I was quite half cut by the time I got to the Excel. But so I was just chatting to everybody. But what happens when you go in there? You go and queue in this area, and they let in sort of a certain amount of people at a time, which mine was the last session. So there was literally, they just let in one group before us, and we were the last ones. Now, what they do they pull this curtain back and they just let everybody in, and then you are greeted. And unfortunately, we could see this before it actually happened. There was about 50 of the event employees all just standing there applauding you.
Wow.
Oh God, it was horrific. There was a couple stood behind me, and the group that was going in before us, they pulled the curtain back and like all these people, yeah, woo, hey! You imagine 50 people who you don't know when you just go for a curtain, just applauding you for absolutely no reason whatsoever, other than you exist.
Especially when you've had a few to drink as well.
Exactly. We were just like, oh God, this is horrific. Oh no. And it was very Americanized in that respect. But fortunately, I just put my head down and sort of dived through them to where they had about, because our group was quite small, I think compared to others, there was probably only about 50 in ours, to an area that was just for your group. And there was a load of Switch 2s. These ones had the Joycons fused on, so you couldn't actually try how well the magnets worked and all that. But it had Mario Kart on it, so it was a single track with about, I think it was 12 characters, or it might be 9. Can't remember, but I played 3 times. And so you got to pick your character, play the race, and then it put you into a race against the person who was next to you. And I was actually second for the whole time, and then I red shelled him and overtook him on the line, so I won. But that's the way Mario Kart wins. My first impressions for that, I got to hold a device, obviously not taking the Joy-Cons off. But one thing that I've always said on this podcast is that I can't play a Switch because my hand seize up. And immediately I felt the difference in this. It is the same thickness and it is still flat, but because it has that more contoured trigger, my fingers sit a lot more comfortably. It does still feel, especially when you've got a Steam Deck, it does still feel thinner. So I think that maybe if I played for an hour, I'd be better than on a Switch 1, but I would still, after an hour, probably feel better on a Steam Deck. But I have got chubby fingers, chubby sausage fingers. So, your mileage may vary, but if you find the Steam Deck, the Switch uncomfortable, you may be okay with the Switch 2. But it is definitely a little, because of that little bit at the top that's contoured, it's definitely a lot better. The overall quality still as good as the Switch, I would say. The screen feels good. It isn't an OLED one; it's an LCD, but it was bright. And Mario Kart looks pretty good. It's pretty, it's bright, it's Mario Kart. If you are only looking at your character, then you probably won't notice. But there was a few times where I was trying to look at the backgrounds and seeing what I think, and I'd just crash. So I sort of stopped doing that after a while. But that was only the practices. But no, it definitely looked a lot better. There was in the future bit, in the big arena, the big hall, there was you could play 24-person matches, races, and they were equally horrific because they had all the helpers in that would be counting you down and then go woo woo yay kind of thing. And at the end of the day, they're paid to do it, so I don't want you to be fake at me, just anyway. back to the actual game and stuff. So Mario Kart was good. If you like Mario Kart, it's Mario Kart. It's got what it had the similar things. I had the ghost weapon, and I had mushrooms. I had a red shell. I had another one. Another one was, I don't know what it was. It was poison or something like that. Because I said, "Oh, what's that weapon?" And I'm sure he said poison. I can't. Obviously, I didn't see what it did to the other people. So after this area where your group goes in initially, you go to the main hall where there was probably about, I would say 15 games you could try. The biggest areas were for things like Mario Kart and the first party games. So Mario Kart I'd already played, so I prioritised going to one of your favourites. I went straight to Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely brilliant, actually. That was one of my highlights was that, which surprised me, because I thought I'd think, it's just a platformer. I didn't realise at first because it's got destructible environments. So, literally, have you played anything like Astroneer or No Man's Sky? Or what's the one with
No Man's Sky?
Yeah, No Man's Sky. You know how with No Man's Sky, you can aim at the floor and you can dig down. Yeah. And you can go through the land and it destroys it. It's like that. Now, it is only sort of surface area, or it's a way to get up somewhere. You have to you have to dig upwards to go up somewhere. And you can climb on walls, you can climb on anything. So you can go anywhere, but you can find things, you can make shortcuts, that kind of thing by digging through. Now, what I didn't realise when I was playing it was the digging was a direction thing. So you pressed, A, B, you pressed Y, I think it was, to just dig forward. But then there was at the beginning of the level, it said press Y to smash this thing in front of you. So I pressed Y, and then there was a destructible bit in front of that. So I went in. Press X, sorry. So I went in, and it said press X, and I pressed X. When I got to the destructible bit, I was pressing, I think it was X. And I'm like, I don't know where I am. I'm just, all I've got is this rock around me. And I'm looking all around, and I'm looking down. I can't see anything. I'm like, have I got myself stuck here? And they're like, no, you're digging up. I'm like, what do you mean I'm digging up? And apparently what it was, X, it's literally the smashing is like a directional thing. So X does it upwards, Y does it forwards, I think, and then A does it downwards. And then there's, I think it's, B does it downwards. So A is then jump. I think I'm remembering the controls, but basically it was a directional like terrain destruction. And it was just really good fun with enemies that you could pick up. You could pick up rock from anywhere and throw in at enemies. There was these special rocks that are explosive that you can throw and blow certain certain things can't be destroyed just by rocks or you smashing. You can throw the explosive stuff and it will do it. And all in all, that was a game that actually excited me a little. So I think, obviously you love your Donkey Kong. Would you like a 3D Donkey Kong though?
I mean, yes. So Donkey Kong 64 was 3D, wasn't it? So,
yeah.
I like that. So
are you like that one? Oh, I think if you like,
I've liked all the Donkey Kong.
If you like your 3D Marios, like Odyssey and such like, it's in that kind of vein. And it's a Nintendo first party game, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be really polished, and I'm excited to see what inventive puzzles they do with the destructive environment. And again, the power, the visuals, very very much impressed me especially for a handheld. I didn't actually play it in handheld mode. Now, however, that's the thing I was going to say. I didn't play it in handheld mode. I was told by the person that in handheld mode, it will be 1080p 120. But in TV mode, it was 4K 60. Now, sometimes, and obviously all these games were all works in progress. They are still at least 2 months to go until they're now released. So this may not be something that happens in the final version, but there was some times where it was quite obviously not anywhere near 60. In fact, I would say it was more probably your 20 frames. It was only occasionally, and as I said, it's a work in progress. But I would have expected them to have optimized a demo that's going around the world a bit more. Whether that's an inherent thing that's got to be sorted by the developers, whatever, I don't know. But yeah, so that was the only worrying thing about the day. I think that a couple of the games, although they say this is not a finalized version, if that is pretty much the finalized version, there was a couple of frame stutters. I think the fact they say that you can have 4K 60 on some games and 120 1080p in handheld, I don't think you're going to get that in many of the AAA games. So if you're a frame rate snob, I'd read reviews before you go down the like Cyberpunk route. And speaking of Cyberpunk, that was another game I played. Mostly because I've already got it on 2 different devices, and it looks fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And the reason why this one confused me a bit was I knew that I can take it from quality mode to performance mode. Now, quality mode is obviously the prettiest. You expect it to be the lower frame rate. So I put it in performance mode, and it was like it didn't have a limiter on it. So like my character and all the NPCs were all moving really quickly. It was like, I don't think this is what's meant to happen. Plus, I'm an inverted player, so it doesn't matter what happened. They said, "Oh, it's probably because the gyro aiming is on, because there's gyro aiming in most of the first-person games I tried." And so I went, "Okay, can I disable that?" And they went, "Yeah, go ahead." So I disabled it. Still not inverted. So I turned it back to not inverted. Yep, okay, it's not inverted. And so I went back in the settings, turned it to inverted. Nope, nothing. So I did say to him, I said, obviously, it's probably a known bug, but if you've got somebody to pass it on that the inverted doesn't work. So I did have to play it non-inverted, which I can just about do. Probably looked like I've never actually played the game, which I've completed it like 3 times. But no, that was it. In terms of the looks, though, the quality mode was very impressed, because I know how good that game looks on Steam Deck, and it looks better than on Steam Deck. I will say that.
Okay.
And if they can polish it up so that the performance mode, if they can get it anywhere near 120, which I don't think they will, but if they can get it 60, 1080p 60, that would be amazing, I think, for a handheld. If they could get the quality mode to maybe a sort of 40, that would be good. It looked very smooth. It did look very smooth. Just the occasional blip, but I would say mostly the frame rate's pretty good. What else did I play? What's it called? Drag X Drive. The one that was in the reveal is like wheelchair basketball. Now, this was used the mouse controls. So the mouse controls are also used for Civ 7. So the same complaints I have about the mouse controls goes for both of them. But Drag X Drive is obviously more arcadey, so it's faster. Now, the mouse controls actually work really well. On Civ 7, it was just like using a mouse. There was one problem in the fact that if you're using the right-hand Joy-Con as a mouse, then left click, what you'd assume is left click on a mouse, is on the left, and right click is on the right. Yeah, so it's the left click shoulder button and the right click trigger. Now, if you're using the left one, the left click is on the right, and the right click is on the left. So that was a bit confusing because it chopped and changed which one was the cursor control. Now, I presume there will be control settings or something like that. But Drag X Drive, the main problem is, now you imagine even on the Switch 1, turn the Joy-Con, you take the Joy-Cons off and you turn them sideways and they work as a mouse. Can you see the problem with using them as that? Can you see any problem? What do you think would happen if you put them on the side and started moving them around like a mouse?
Not much.
No? Well, the problem is that they're really thin and tall. So you're using them and they're falling over all the time. And you're like, because if you rest your hand on top, you've then got to, you can't put your fingers on the side at the bottom because you've then got to use the sticks or the buttons on the Joy-Cons. So your hands are on it and they're tipping over and stuff if you're putting any pressure down. So you've got to have it brushing the surface, but then if you put any pressure down, there's so many times where I was doing something and I'd be like, oh, it's not doing anything. Oh, that's because it's fallen over. Oh, God, because I'm trying to move the stick. Now, Drag X Drive, you didn't have to press many buttons because it was literally each Joy-Con is a wheel. And so it's tank controls, but with like two mice. And then as soon as if you've got the ball, as soon as you're aiming for, your player is aiming at the basket, you just had to flick your Joy-Con and it would shoot. And if you were aiming at the basket, most times it would go in. They played a tutorial, and once you'd done the tutorial, there was 6 setups and it put 3v3. I was quite good, even if I do say so myself. And me and my 2 colleagues won 5-0. I say 5-0. We scored 5, which again you get 2 points or 3 points depending on where you're standing. But they didn't score at all, so yay, we won. So it was good fun. But yeah, those mouse controls. I think for Drag X Drive, it isn't so bad, but the 2 other games that I played with the mouse controls were Civ 7, which it's Civ, with mouse controls in a handheld. So, yeah, great. The other one was one that I think you're very much looking forward to, Metroid Prime 4.
I am, yeah.
It looks fantastic. Absolutely, again, gorgeous looking. It's got like full first-person mouse style controls, or you could hold a button and then sort of aim on, just have a cursor moving on the screen kind of thing, which was quite useful for a boss that had weak points that you had to shoot. So you'd sort of lock onto it, and that meant you could just, you just had a cursor that was moving, and you strafed while locked on. Looked really good, but again, trying to use, which I'm relatively used to a mouse and keyboard game. I'm not as good as I used to be, but it was just I'd flick and it would fall over, and this was on a perfectly smooth surface. So it wasn't the game's fault. The game was fine. The game was brilliant. If you love Metroid Prime, you are absolutely going to love Metroid 4 by the one level and one boss that I got to play. But the mouse, I think you will be able to play mouse or like joystick controls. So it's if you aren't somebody that finds a problem with it, or if you are, you'll be able to pick and choose however you want to control it. Now, I personally, as I said, I've got chubby sausage fingers. If you've got that, I don't think people like me will like the mouse controls. For something like Drag X Drive, you might be able to put up with it because that's more sort of forwards and backwards only kind of thing. That's all it is. But your Civ, and especially your Metroid Prime, when you're whipping it around really fast, I found it quite hard. And I think that because of the size of it, you have to have this weird claw kind of grip, and it was not comfortable at all. Didn't like it. But on a positive note, in that respect, the new Pro Controller, I got to play that with quite a few of the games, and my God, it feels absolutely smooth, buttery smooth. Like the stick, it has a real good quality to it. So the stick's just a nice and smooth motion. The buttons have a really good clicky press. I was very impressed with the Pro Controller, but the Switch One Pro Controller was always good. So, Joe, it's been so long since we used the Switch One Pro Controller that I couldn't tell you if it's any better. But I play with an Xbox controller, and if somebody gave me one of those instead of an Xbox controller, I wouldn't complain. In fact, I'd say, lovely. Is this a more expensive one? And knowing Nintendo, yes. Yes, it is more expensive, but it's good. It's good. So those are the only games I played. They did have a unit, as I said, if you played on any handheld units, they were fused, the Joycons, but they did have one unit that you could go up, and it was for podcasters, YouTubers to film. God, those guys. But basically, I had to queue up behind a guy with he's probably £5,000 camera, with all the lenses and stabilizers and all this kind of thing. And I was just like, then I walked up with my phone, going, "Can I get a pic?" That was also because I was fairly tipsy at the time. I'd asked for some stupid questions. And I'd asked some stupid questions at various places. And now most of the time they just knew I was taking the mick. But this girl, I went up to her and I tried to get the most serious look on my face. And I just went, "Oh, excellent." So I took the left one off and I just went, "Excellent. Is it all right if I just take this home? Because I'm always losing the left Joy-Con." And you could see the look of horror on her face. She was just like, "Oh no, I'll get him loads of trouble." And it was like, there was a security guard like 4 feet away, kind of things. So there wasn't a chance that anybody could take anything home. But yes, she had a genuine look of like horror that somebody was actually asking if they could take just one Joy-Con home, not both of them, just one. I think
it'd be a reason.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't asking to take the whole thing. But no, I did say I'm only joking, love. Don't worry. Granted, the security guard that was there was a woman, probably in her 50s, that was about 4 foot tall. So I did sort of go, "I could probably run faster than you, love." 4 foot tall and probably almost that wide. But yeah. So anyway, so I did have a go with taking the Joy-Cons off, which I don't know if you know is at the moment, when they showed it in the reveal, they're magnetic and there's a little switch at the top. It's not in a position where you accidentally touch it, but I can imagine some people, maybe if you've got longer fingers, might accidentally pull it, but they don't. It doesn't just fall out. It's not a case of you click it and it all just falls apart. You have to click it and pull because there is a sort of socket, But to put them back, it literally, I've taken a video which I'll put on our Facebook, and literally you can hold them a centimetre away and it'll fly out of your hand and click in. So are they good as well? I did sort of, without making it look like I was bending it, give it a good old twist. And I sort of, without making my fingers go white, sort of pull it a bit. Not like as hard as I possibly could, but hard enough that it was, your average little kid, you give it a yank. And yeah, no, they felt pretty sturdy. It wasn't 100% perfect. There was a little bit of movement when I was moving it, but literally, I'm being picky there. It makes it sound like there was loads of give and they were rattling. They weren't rattling. The magnets held really well, and I'm hoping that this unit had already been taken apart and put back together, probably 1,000 times already, like thousands of times already. So go by that. Yeah, hopefully. They'll be good. So yeah. And some merch. I got some merch, not that anybody cares. There was like a tote bag, drinks bottle, some post-it notes, a pen, and a poster. It's literally just the Nintendo Switch 2 poster. It's nothing special.
Not going to put it in your bedroom then.
No. I think I'm not going to take my kids' pictures down to replace it with a Switch 2 poster. It wasn't anything special, but yeah, it was nice. It's probably stuff that in 2 months' time might be worth about £12. All in all, am I the person on this podcast that has never owned a Switch and has said he's not going to be buying this? Have I changed my mind? No. Am I very impressed and think that Switch fans and people who like the Switch should get one? Absolutely. It's a great piece of kit. From what I've seen with things like Cyberpunk, things are going to look gorgeous. I mean, just the fact that they have got Cyberpunk on it is amazing. There was Split Fiction available to play there as well. I did play that because I have it at home. With the fact that you can play that with on it and Cyberpunk is just brilliant. And yes, okay, we've already had handhelds that can play Cyberpunk, but to have something like Cyberpunk on a Nintendo handheld console, absolutely brilliant. And obviously, what's their name? Microsoft have promised Nintendo that they are going to support Call of Duty on the Switch for the next 10 years, is it? But that was about a year ago, so at least the next 9 years. So you'll get all your normal AAAs. I should think, all your, whether it's FIFA or Madden or COD or Fortnite, they're all going to be on it. I think you should sell your firstborn and get one.
Fair enough. I will do.
And obviously, to buy a game, you'll have to sell your second-born, and to get an extra controller, your third.
Lucky I do have 3 children.
There you go.
A Switch.
And if you want the camera, sell the wife.
Be quite lonely, but at least I'll have a lot.
And you'll have a Switch too, and a camera. I think once you see Donkey Kong in its full glory, I think you'd be like, yep, and Metroid Prime.
They're the two that I'm like. I like Mario Kart, but I'm not like a fanatic. Like,
I think it will come with it for a long time. I think eventually, because at the moment you've got to pay. I think it's It's £30. I think £30 more. And in the US with the pre-tariff prices, I think it was an extra $70. I think something like that. or an extra $60 for the Mario Kart version. I think give it 6 months or a year. I think that'll be a standard. I think one of the games will just be standard. I think it'll be a retailer thing. I think retailers will just go, not to see Nintendo giving it away for free, but retailers will go, oh look, £400 for a Switch, and we'll throw in a free Mario Kart or Zelda. And let's not forget as well, though, that all these games, you will technically be able to buy it physically, but the physical cartridges are just keys, and you have to download. So it's all good though, all good.
Yeah.
So that was my
your review. Yeah.
Yes, my review of the Nintendo Switch experience. Thanks to you, because your ticket. So I went in as Martin. Yeah.
Nintendo are not watching this, and I get a letter in the post.
Oh no, it was very much there. I mean, there was families there. There was, couples, old people, young people. I did feel like, I'm 46 years older. I did think, oh, am I going to be one of the old ones? And yes, I was older than the average, but there was plenty of people my age and older.
Nintendo is loved by all ages, isn't it? So, but yeah, for me, probably Donkey Kong and Metroid. I was having a look at those games. Donkey Kong, Mario Kart aren't coming out on the Switch by the looks of it, but Metroid is.
Ooh.
Enough. So
yeah.
if I Switch 2 by the time Metroid 4 comes out, then at least I could still get Metroid 4. But
it just says 2025 for Metroid Prime 4, doesn't it? They said later in the year.
Mario Kart is a launch game. Donkey Kong, I think, comes out in June.
I think
it's not a launch game. It's the 17th of June, I think. So it'll be sort of a couple of weeks afterwards. So, but yeah, excited. I mean,
the destructive worlds, I think, on Donkey Kong would mean it would absolutely not be possible on the Switch One.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, because as I said, it did impress me.
Did you play the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome tool though, which people?
No, that was available, but literally, I think they had one that did that. I was like, so I suppose I probably should have really. Because in the end, I think I didn't stay till the very end to play things because I just felt. Yeah, like Split Fiction, I was like, I don't really want to play that. There was Yakuza there. They had an 18 and over area that Cyberpunk and Yakuza was on. But in the end, I was like, there's nothing else really that I feel I should play. And then I forgot, actually, when I came out, I was like, I did see the Welcome tool, but I think there was literally one Switch that had that. But it's a paid tech demo.
Yeah, that's...
Literally, I mean, what? I mean, look at Astro's Playroom that PS5 came with. I mean, it just it's Nintendo. What can I say? They do fantastic hardware. They do fantastic games, but their business practices sometimes just beggars belief, and yet people, if nobody buys it, I think they will end up giving it away for free. Maybe that will be what they give away for free instead of Mario Kart. Let's face it,
who is going to buy it? I mean, I don't know what's going to be priced at, but unless it is like because I know I was going to call it Astro Boy. It's Astro Bot. What
Astro Playroom?
Astro
the
Playroom.
Free one.
That is, if it wasn't a free game, it would still be worth a bit of money because it's still
the Playroom was pretty good. Yeah, it wasn't a full price game, but it had loads to unlock. It had loads of history info. It was fun. There was loads of secrets. It was great. And then they obviously Astrobot winning Game of the Year everywhere. That they expanded it. Now this Welcome Tour, it just looks like. Yeah, it's just a technical. This is what you can do. Yes, I know that. I own the bloody thing. I don't want to. Yeah, it should be free. And if you don't want to, as a company, Nintendo, if you don't want to invest in that and lose money on something that is free, fine, don't do something like that.
I mean, Xbox didn't do a
No,
tour game, did they?
No, just have a just have a video saying this is how you take the the Joycons off. Press this button to go home. There you go. It's a little video. That's fine. Don't charge for a tech demo. But I didn't play it, so it might have been absolutely amazing. But then look at the Steam Deck. If you got a Steam Deck, there was the what was it called? The job. Oh, what was it game? The free job game Steam Deck. Basically, when the Steam Deck came out, they released Aperture Desk Job. They released, and it was showing off all the hardware that the Steam Deck had, and it looked fantastic. It was very, very short, but it was free.
Yeah.
And it showed the gyro, it showed the touch screen, it showed all sorts of things that you could do, and it was 100% free. There you go. But anyway, enough Nintendo bashing. They put this event on. It was fun. It was free. I feel very lucky to have gone.
A lot of people did try and get tickets. And weren't like yourself and Tom.
Yep, me and Tom, who live near London.
Gave it to someone who lives on the other side of the country.
You live on the opposite side of the country, and you got tickets. But in the end, unfortunately for you, you couldn't go. I think you would have been very happy to go, but equally, it was 4 hours of playing on Switch.
Yeah, I was tempted, but I just thought, for the sake of, I'd have to have gone quite early to make sure I get there, and then either train, but that would be like £100 a ticket, or drive there and park. So it was just. So I ended up going to the tip.
You thought Switch 2 or taking stuff to the tip? No, I was very grateful for the ticket. I mean, I've said I'll probably send the merch your way because I don't have no need for.
I'll pay for the postage.
Nintendo tote bag.
Bag as the packaging, don't you? So they just chuck it in the tote bag and send it on.
Well, the poster comes in a little poster tube, so I could try and shove as much as I could in there.
Yeah.
It'll mean the poster will get a bit screwed up, but it'll get there. To be honest, it could be all wrapped up into probably a slightly longer tube because you got the water bottle. It ain't, in terms of volume, it ain't much. In fact, in terms of price, it ain't that much. It's not cheap. It's nice stuff, but it's not. You wouldn't even get there and they go, "Oh, 1 in 10 of you is going to win a Switch 2. Yay!" No. You just get pens and that's all it was. I was hoping that maybe they were going to do something like that. Hey, you've been specially selected. You win a voucher for a Switch 2 when it comes out.
You win a Joycon.
I would have won a night in prison, I think, if I'd done that. But here, you can have the other one. You're special. It was a good day. It was a good day. I just I got home at about I think about 7:30, something like that.
Would you do another experience? Do the other consoles do it? Do Sony do experiences? I mean,
not public ones, really. No. I mean, obviously, things like gaming conventions. If you go to in this country, we have EGX. If you go to that and there's a new console coming out, then sometimes, it depends on how close it is to launch. If it's all announced and everything, like the Switch 2, then they might have some on display to play on. But generally, these things, if it's like right now, if EGX was on today, they'd probably have a prototype, or they'd probably have behind the scenes for journalists. They'll have the handheld on that you can play on, and go, yeah, here you go, you can play on it. You just can't tell anybody. But this was a public event. There was no NDA or anything like that. So and I said, am I all right to record? I did get, I sort of got told off in the very first. When I was playing Mario Kart, I was filming the handheld in my hand and the screen. And somebody came over and, oh, no, it wasn't that, was it? No, it was Civ 7, because I went and played Civ 7. And I was recording the mouse controls, and the guy came over to my helper and went, he's recording. And I went, am I not meant to be recording? And he went, oh, no, you just, you're right. You've got to record the hardware. I went, I'm recording the mouse movements. And he went, all right. I just walked off. So I said to the person, I'm like, is that like your team leader or something? And they went, sort of. Yeah, so there was people.
The games then.
You weren't allowed to just capture the screen. So you weren't allowed to just film game capture. You had to be recording hardware as well. And I said that's what I'm doing. I said I'm getting the mouse movements because I'm moving the mouse and showing it moving on the screen, which I was also complimenting it. I was like, oh, that works really well. It moves like a normal mouse, and it does. There's no sort of a controller style movement of the cursor on screen. It works like a mouse. I'm moving a mouse at the moment, and it worked exactly like that. So that was the only time I got told off. But even that, he was wrong, because the person who was, as I said, every single piece of hardware had a helper. The hardware was behind a case anyway, and even the person sort of, you could see that they were like, "What are you doing? Tell him off. He's not recording the screen." But I think they'd been very, very much debriefed in everything and what they could and couldn't say and all this kind of thing. Because one of the things, what was the questions I asked? I asked about does it play Blu-rays, and the guy who I asked just sort of looked at me like, you're hilarious. And then when I was asking about floppy disks, I just pissed myself laughing. So I was just like, and they were like, they didn't quite get what I was saying. I think mixture of alcohol and asking a stupid question. I don't think I made much sense. And then I asked, I was like, so what about if I'm going swimming? Can I play it underwater? And the person said, I don't believe it's waterproof now.
Please go on it.
So, which anybody who plays a Switch underwater, you're gonna have a bad time. It's not designed for that, especially with so many ports and detachable things and whatnot. What else? Did I see anything else? They had a display of various accessories, so your steering wheels, the camera, that kind of thing, which none of them really were that special. Just typical, exactly the same accessories as you had for the Switch, just fitting the Switch 2 Joycons. Obviously, the camera is a new one, but it's all.
Would you go to a Switch-free experience based on this?
Oh yeah, I mean, I put a Switch in front of me, or put anything gaming in front of me, and I'll play it. I mean, I don't know a PlayStation, but if somebody said, "Oh, there's PS6 experience," I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll go." I love all gaming. I moan sometimes about some things, but at the same time, I moan about the Nintendo ecosystem. But there are people out there that will be better. Whether it's because you're a family person, you want it to be good for the kids and traveling, whether it's because you travel a lot, whether it's you're bloody loaded and you've got loads of money and you can buy all the games and you don't really care. Brilliant, great, lovely. then it's for you. But if your money is tight, don't do it. Don't buy it. If you want to play third party adult games, now generally, I want to say adult, I mean like Call of Duties, your Cyberpunks, then you will be able to play those now. But equally, if you want to tinker and you want to be able to do whatever you want with your device, get a Steam Deck or RG Ally or Legion Go or whatever this Xbox one that's coming out hopefully soon. That's Asus as well. So it's basically ROG Ally sort of 3, ROG Ally 2. But we'll see when that is actually announced. Because that I'm very much interested in to actually buy as well. I'm tempted to save up for that now, but we'll see when it's coming out. If they say, yeah, here it is, it's coming out in a week, I won't be getting it. If they say, oh, it's coming out at Christmas, I will absolutely be getting it as long as it's below a certain price and as long as it's still an open PC. Yeah. It was very enjoyable. Next time, next time though, you will have to come. It's the law.
Or if I'm lucky enough to get tickets next time, then I'll make sure I'm not going to the tip on the Sunday.
Well, yeah, we were going to do a Mega CD episode this week, but A, I went to the Switch thing, and B, Tom isn't on. So we will say episode 91 should, touch wood, be a Mega CD episode where we're going to talk about that. And
have you ever owned a Mega CD?
Well, Tom's owned one, so he'll be able to tell us his experience. And I've played some of the games.
I own a Mega CD.
You do own them. You did own.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Where I got it from Western Tip. So just that is just a coincidence because I was talking about the tip, and that's where I.
Yeah, you're not saying you got it this week.
So my no, this was like 20 years ago, but yeah, my mum knew someone who used to work at the tip, and he would bring back stuff that people would throw out. Brought back a Mega CD. It had like Prince of Persia, like loads of games on it.
Wow.
And yeah.
Well, even 20 years ago, they were probably still worth a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, now they're definitely worth, especially if they're in working condition. But yes, I mean, such delights as Night Trap and Sylpheed and Sonic CD. Yeah, we'll be chatting all about them. Yeah, so we'll go from things that aren't even released yet to things that are 30 years old.
That's our podcast.
Yeah. Indeed.
Cover anything and everything.
Everything gaming and alcohol. So, although I haven't got drunk this week.
No, you saved that Saturday, and then
that's half the reason.
We had a discussion about bin collections. That was good. If anyone. North-South divide. We discussed that.
Yes, we did. And
anything and everything.
I don't listen to it when I edit it. I listen to as little as possible, but I'm gonna guess I probably started slurring a bit last episode. And if you listen to this to like this long, what are we at now? About an hour. I think we should do a password, shouldn't we? And people should post it on our Facebook or on one of the things. What could be our password? I don't know. Oh, we could have something because Tom isn't here. We could actually have something that Tom has to type in on Facebook. So what should Tom have to type? Mega CD sucks?
Yeah,
there you are. Tom, if you're listening, and anybody else that's listening, just go onto our Facebook and just randomly on the latest post, probably.
Not confident that Tom will.
just type Mega CD sucks. Don't worry if Tom responds to like no, it doesn't. We will then inform him why Mega CD sucks. Or feel free to put Mega CD sucks and then put actually it doesn't. I don't know. Up to you.
Also, keep an eye out for us because Duncan will put the stuff about the Switch too.
Yep. Hopefully, I'll either edit stuff or just put it on Raw. I will put up some videos because some of them I have people nattering in the background, or somebody started talking to me, so I'm just like, I need to put music over them, or do like an Instagram edit or something like that. So, right, and on that note, after pretty much exactly an hour, like and subscribe. Yeah, and and then we will see you for episode 91. On that note,
bye.